Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Jensen. I'm CEO and co-founder of Sefaira. We're working to build the world's leading green building software company. A little about the company. We're 2 years old. We have offices in New York and in London, 15 employees, an experienced management team with 5 startups behind us. And why are we focused on green buildings? Well, that's because we see that as the biggest opportunity in the green economy. Today, we know that buildings are consuming approximately 40% or more of all energy. And governments are picking up on that trend. They're driving zero carbon legislation in the UK, where all new residential buildings must be zero carbon from 2016, across the European Union from 2019, and even in the United States, where California, which is often a bellwether state, have put in place legislation making zero energy buildings mandatory from 2020. We're seeing that drive pervasively. We're also seeing a lot of voluntary or semi-voluntarily rating schemes that are being put in place. And all of this is putting a tremendous pressure on architects that are being forced to build green and build to green standards. Soon, if they don't build green, they will not be able to get building permits. And so one of the ways the industry has dealt with this up to today is to introduce additional steps into the design process. New people, new skills, new consultants are being added to help the designers, to help the architects meet the green requirements. But as we know, when you add steps to a process, it means extra labor, it means extra time. Here is a picture of what's ahead of us. We're in 2011 today, and here are the requirements that are just a few years away for zero carbon by 2016. Even though the UK government have reduced their ambitions a little bit, they're still much, much higher than what we're seeing today. There is a lot of pressure right in front of the industry. And what does that mean? Well, that means that all this extra pressure, all these extra requirements that are going to come in, they add extra iterations, they prolong the design cycle, and they add a lot of extra time and cost. We know that traditional design tools, they're made to support this design process, but the question is how well that works in an era of austerity, and whether it's really going to get us to where we need to be, whether traditional design tools can really give us carbon neutral buildings. Top performance requires sustainability from the first pen stroke. It's not enough to bolt it on as an afterthought, and that's where Sefaira comes in. 2 years ago, we set out to make the industry's leading green building software. And 2 weeks ago, we were awarded with the Green Building Innovation Prize of the Year at EcoBuild in London. What we've developed is Sefaira Concept, a tool that allows designers to evaluate and optimize their designs in a fraction of the time required with the traditional tools. It has got the industry's most intuitive interface. It's a web application, much more accessible than traditional desktop tools. It's super fast because it relies on cloud computing, so we have cloud power, meaning that we can run simulations in minutes or seconds rather than the hours or days it would take historically. And importantly, it has good built-in decision support, which gives architects all the data, all the information, and suggestions to how to optimize their designs to make them as sustainable as possible. How can we provide them with all this powerful information? Well, to do that, we had to develop Sefaira Fulcrum, which is our cloud-based software engine sitting behind our application. It accurately forecasts energy use, water use, carbon emissions, utility costs, and a wide range of other things. And here's a chart that's been developed by one of our customers, and where they've shown how they used our software to take out steps of their design process and dramatically reduce the cost. Imagine this replicated over and over. Now, we know that new buildings, they're just part of the sustainability challenge. For every new building, there are thousands of existing buildings that need to be retrofitted. And so we've developed an opportunity to respond to that requirement. Let's put that challenge into context. In the UK today, there are 26 million homes. 25 million of these could still be with us in 2050. Now, extrapolate that to Europe and to the globe. It's a big undertaking if we want to retrofit all these buildings. So the good news is that green building transformation is an NPV positive undertaking. We can unlock massive savings by retrofitting our buildings and making them green. And so what we've done is we've developed software that helps address that requirement. Again, it's web-based. It helps owners and property managers unlock the savings potentials that are in their buildings. And the way it does that is by assessing a property portfolio and then identifying the interventions that are most appropriate for a given portfolio. Once that's done, it estimates the cost of each intervention, and then it ranks and prioritizes the buildings according to the savings potential these buildings have. Now, what all of that does, it helps an owner or a manager of a property portfolio build a business case for retrofits and identify and unlock the savings they have hidden in their property portfolios. We know that all of this requires a lot of analysis. You'd have to analyze each building effectively, and it so happens that we have a powerful tool, Sefaira Fulcrum, originally developed for Sefaira Concept, but we've also used that for Sefaira Renew, our fast cloud-based engine. And because we have that, we can analyze large building stocks very, very quickly. So Sefaira Renew, in that sense, is an easy way and a fast way to develop an accurate roadmap for retrofitting existing buildings. In summary, Sefaira, we have software to design new buildings, we have software to retrofit existing buildings, so there's a unified framework for transforming our built environment. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your time. Any questions?
Thank you. What about your revenue forecast, revenue plan?
So we are selling into a market on the architect side of 400,000 practitioners, architects, engineers, and other designers globally. And on top of that, there is the whole retrofit challenge, where you can only start to imagine the volumes we're talking about. We're still a relatively early stage company, so I'd say to anybody that's looking to invest now is a good time to get in whilst we're building up the business.